All right. So welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about another product rendering, and I actually have one that everyone can get today. So again, going back to the Dementiva site, they have a free Leica M9 digital camera. So when you download it, it's going to come in a couple file formats. It's going to be in 3D Studio Max, V-Ray Corona, OBJ, and FBX, along with its textures. So this is great. I imported it as a FBX, and it comes in just fine with all the textures. So you don't have to import the OBJ where you have to reconnect everything. So this was the FBX import, and this is how it came in. So looking at the scale also, it looks pretty on point. The only thing I would have to do is collapse the transforms. So I'm just going to press Control A and go all transforms to reset everything. And we're off to a good start here. So I actually wanted to pull back a little bit on this video. It may be a little longer, but that's okay. I just want to take you guys through more of the process of setting things up. I know I kind of sometimes will just jump into doing lighting, and that's about it. I try to avoid a lot of the modeling portion and things like that. So for this one, we're going to set this asset up and then also bring that asset in as a linked object. And from there, we'll light it, shoot it. I mean, not light it, but set up our camera and light it, render it. So for what I got to do right now, since this is coming from a different software as a FBX or FBX, I need to set up the materials properly. So I also have pulled up some references for the camera itself too. So I'm looking here through Google to see what the camera actually looks like in real life. So it has a more of a metallic feel. It is kind of a matte finish. Let's see. Oh, this is actually Dementiva image. So we can match the Dementiva image too. So I'm going to use this as my reference to get it back to what it should be with the material. So switching back over to Blender, I'm going to start playing with this now. And I have it set in render mode right now. So I'm going to make two windows, hide some of these items. And I already have it set in render mode right now. So, Z, go to the rendered. And then I also have it set to one of its default global lightings. So we can choose one of these options here. Maybe I'll do something like that. And then now I'm going to go over here to shader editor. So I don't know much about this. I have not done a lot of preparation for this asset, and I have not looked at what's going on with it yet. So I am kind of freestyling it, and this may be some having to figuring out when it comes to this asset. So, but let's go along for the ride, right? So we'll get it done. Okay, so I might have to break this video up into two parts, or I'll just cut a lot of parts out just to shorten it up. Okay, so first material we're going to look at is this noise material. Oh, I changed the material. So we're going to go here to slot, and there's a lot of different materials here. So first is the lens ring. So let's see what's going on here. And what I'm going to do is just unplug it and see what happens. Okay, so that's the lens ring. Plug it back in. Okay. And then I also want to check my textures. So you probably can't see this window that I'm doing right now, but I'm going in the background and I'm going to check the textures to see how many textures this model came with. All right, so I'm in the textures folder. Okay, so there's only three textures total for this file or this asset. So, all right, that's good to know. I'm going to get rid of this normal map that just always comes in when I'm importing FBX files. Okay, so again, this is the lens ring we're working with. So I'm gonna turn down the roughness just to see what happens. Get an idea of what this thing looks like. I'm gonna switch back to the web, look at the reference. Let's see. Okay. All right, we're gonna switch back to Blender. And we're just going to give it some roughness. Let's go with 0.35. So we'll start with that. All right. And then we also need some bump on it because these rings usually have some indentations on it from the text. So I'm going to just reuse the color texture for the bump. So I'm just going to create a bump. And then I might connect this over here. Say height. And then plug it into the normal. And then we're going to turn the strength way up just to see if something's happening. And then I'm going to unplug this also to confirm. Maybe turn it gray, mid-gray. So, oh, no, not saturation value. 0.5. Just to get a point of reference of how this material is looking. Okay, so we probably have to go -1, -32. Let's go back to 0. I'm going to copy this and then plug it here and set this to non-color. See if that makes a difference. Make it unique too. And then sRGB. Okay. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create another printable BSDF because sometimes I notice that the material comes in kind of messed up. So I'm just going to reset the material. And then plug this in the normal again. And just start with a clean slate. I like this about Blender too, where this material output here has an output. So you can interchange the material like this. I like that. All right, so we're going to plug this back in. And then let's check this again. All right, so now the bump is working properly. So if I go -1, what do I get? Okay, nothing. We have to invert it. That's right. So let's invert. And then we'll go 0.5. We'll plug it back in. I'm going to set this to 0.3. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. All right, and then 1. Too much. Let's go 0.8. All right, so we can live with that. Let's move on to the next one. So Leica base noise. So what part is this? So we're just going to turn it to a bright red. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with. Okay, so we have a problem here. We don't have this texture right now. So I have to figure out how I'm going to solve that issue because in the textures folder, I don't see it here in the textures folder. So it's actually not there. So I wonder if this was a procedural map. So being that this may be a procedural map that was used in the rendering, I may have to circle back around to that. So I'm just going to kind of just set a simple shader for this. So again, I'm just going to start over printable BSDF. I'm going to change this out and then hit X. You know what I need? I need to get the thing where it shows the keyboard shortcuts I'm using on the screen for you guys too. I'm going to get that set up soon. All right, so set the value to 0.01. And we just got a simple shader. So I'm going to set it like 0.4 for now. We'll circle back to this. All right. And then next, again, I'm going to unplug this, see what happens. Turn this red. Okay, so these are the dials at the top. We'll undo. And looking at the reference, it's kind of an aluminum finish. So we'll go here. We'll set the metallic all the way up. Pull this down back. Say 0.3. Let's go with that. Looks nice. Cool. So we got that done. Easy. And we'll move on to the next slot. All right. So let's see what this is. Black parts. That's what it's called. So we're just going to, again, delete this. We're going to turn it to a bright red so we can see what's happening. Okay. So this is the ring. So again, this is a black material. More metallic, I'm assuming. All right. So I'm going to make a new printable again. plug it here, delete this. Oh, delete that. Set the value. Let's go down 0.01. Cool. And I think I had it at 0.4, no, 0.3. Cool. That's looking good. Next, we'll move on. So we're just going one by one, setting up our materials. This is called black plastic. So again, it's just rinse and repeat. Turning this red, looking at the reference, more of a matte plastic finish. 0.01. And I'm not doing anything fancy and pretty simple stuff. Again, I'm just trying to do a nice product shot, not for a client or anything. We're at the deliver. So this is just kind of like my dad and my mom are both artists, and my dad all the time, like every week, he was working on a still life. He was a oil painter, and every week my dad would sit in his art room working on a new still life. And so like every week there would be another scene set up, and that's how he would practice if he wasn't working on a project in quotations. You know, he was always doing a still life painting to keep practicing. So it's kind of the same thing as I see it, you know. I'm not trying to be super hyper real, fancy, you know, do a fancy client deliverable. I'm just trying to get practice in, right? So I'm trying to be quick, simple, get something that looks nice and executable. So that's kind of my approach here. All right, so we got that set. Moving on to the next. Hit X, and then we're gonna check where this color is, brighten it up, make it really bright. Okay, so this looks like the flash. So let's undo, and it's kind of a white plastic, I would say, grayish. Let's go like 0.6 to make it a little brighter. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of transmission because this is the flash. And then see transmission, pull the roughness back, something like that. That's nice. Maybe more. 0.6. Yeah, we can go with that for now. I don't know why the metallics. Let's turn that down. It shouldn't be metallic. It's more of a glass finish. And then let's make it brighter. 0.8, 0.6. Pull this back a little bit. 0.5. Yeah, we'll just stick with that for now. Okay, so next one, next slot, camera parts. Get rid of that. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so this is metal. So aluminum finish. I'm gonna make it gray. I'm gonna say saturation, go away. Set this to 0.6. Metallic. Take this down to 0.4. Cool. Move on. Next. This is a red color. I'm thinking that it's that little red dot right there. Yep. And a Leica logo. So this is pretty glossy. So I'm going to go like 0.2. Bring the metallic down. And just kind of look at it from the side. Make sure that we're getting what we want. Okay, so again, I'm going to use a new principled BSDF. I'm going to take the hex, copy this, paste it here, like so, and then interchange them out. Get rid of that. So as you can see, I have more reflection on this again. It's for some reason the FBX gets rid of the reflections on these materials. It's easier to change it out. All right, so next one. Again, I'm just repeating everything. So it's just rinse and repeat, just fixing these materials for our shot. So this is a glass material. Yes, glass. Okay, so we're going to take the roughness all the way down, alpha all the way up. Wait. Okay. Oh, transmission. Okay, so yeah, alpha all the way up, and then push our transmission up, and got something interesting going on here. So I think this is because it's very mirrored, and I think that's oh, it's a metallic. That's what it is. Okay, so let's take that down. Now we got what we need. Okay. I was going to say, I was thinking because it was just a single surface glass, like it didn't have any thickness to it. That's what I was going to say. And sometimes that happens in other 3D software. If you just have a single plane as a glass, it doesn't render properly. But now this looks right. All right, so next one. Let's go here. This is the display, so I'm assuming this is on the back. Let's turn it. Yep, as I assumed. We're gonna go print a little BSDF and go like that. Get rid of these two. And then it was black. 0.01. And then we're gonna turn the roughness down. So usually screens are pretty glossy. So I'm actually gonna put it really low. Almost mirror finish. So the screens are pretty reflective usually. I never held a Leica M9, but I'm gonna assume it's pretty glossy. All right, next slot. We got two more. All right, and then this is, I'm assuming there's one more texture somewhere I'm trying to find. All right, so let's unplug. We're gonna turn this red. All right, so it's the metal portion of the camera. That's what it is. All right, so we're gonna have the metallic up and then the roughness 0.4. Cool. I'm gonna try 0.3, matter of fact. Yeah, that looks better. Maybe I'm off a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, that can work. This will work. Okay, next one. Logo. So I'm assuming this is the logo, the Leica logo above the lens. So let's turn it. Yep. Okay, so that's the logo. And we're gonna turn the metallic up. Again, new material. Get rid of this, plug this up. And then we're gonna set the value, say 0.5, metallic all the way up, and 0.4, 0.3. Actually, make it kind of shiny. Yeah, like that. That's nice. That looks real nice. Has a really nice look to it. Okay, cool. So we got all of our materials set up. So I'm gonna do one thing actually. For the glass, I'm gonna switch back to the glass. I'm gonna try a shader plus material so that it has some dispersion in it. So I'm just gonna right click. Again, this is a Blender add-on. It's a really good Blender add-on. It's called Shader Plus. It's by a artist by the name of Smouse, Smouse. You can find it on Blender Market. It's great shader plugin or Blender add-on. All right, so I'm gonna use glass presets, dispersion. Let's say weak. I'm gonna go with weak. We'll try that out. And I just want a little bit of dispersion inside the lens. That's why. So as you can see, there's some dispersion going on. And usually you kind of see that effect happening on the camera lenses. So it just gives it like a more, how can I explain this? More natural feel is the best word I could find for that, what I'm trying to explain. So let's get rid of this. Right. And now we have our asset ready. Okay. So now I can save this asset to my asset library for, now I have something else added to my asset library. So this is great. One one thing I'm going to do before I put it to the asset library is I'm going to work on the texture for the body. So I'm going to pause the video for that portion because it's going to take a while to do. And then I'm going to come back when this body portion is done, and I'll just walk you through the material. Okay, so we're back. I worked on the body portion of the camera to get this texture on it, this grip texture. So yeah, looking at the references back and forth, it's a very noisy texture. So my best assumption was that it's some kind of noise map we could use to solve that texture. So using the Veroni texture, that's what I had used. So basically simple setup. We set up the shader initially, as we had done when we were working on the materials. Set up a bump node, set it to 0.6, and then I got a Veroni texture, and then set it to 3D, smooth F1, Euclidean. The scale is set to 480, very, very small. And then I set the detail to 2, and that was it. It was done. So it just took about, I would say, 5 to 10 minutes to get this set up. So it's just, playing with numbers till you got that right setting, zooming in and out, checking it to see if it looks good, judging it against the reference. The only thing I would say is this material may have, this texture may have caused the material to get a little brighter because it's picking up more light now. So I'm probably going to take the roughness down now a little bit. And the reason being is because the texture itself has like micro details to it. And so what that causes it is your reflections to break up more, which gives the illusion of a more matte material. So now I'm kind of balancing that back out to what I had originally had it when I was setting up the shader itself. So I'm ending up with 0.3 when we had 0.4 before. So that's it. We got the camera set up. We may circle back around to it as we develop the shot. But for now, I think it's ready for production. So I'm going to save this to my asset library, and then we're going to set up a new scene to start rendering. All right, so starting on a blank slate, we're going to import the now saved asset. Probably can't see my screen right now, but I'm browsing for the asset that I just saved. So I'm going to my asset library right now to import it as a linked object. So asset browser and camera Leica M9 digital. So we're going to link that in. Oh, you know what? I did not do one thing. So I'm going to go back here, open this file again. So I did not save it as a collection. So again, we always want to make sure that we set up our collection right. So it's already in a collection. I'm just going to name this camera Leica M9 digital, just like that. And then I'm going to save it again. And then we're going to make a new file, general. And now we're going to link it in. So link. And then I'm going to go back to where I was. So let's go asset browser, collection, and we have it linked in. Cool. All right. So there it is. So there's our asset we're going to use. So it's all ready to go. We did the materials. I'm going to make this point smaller. It's really big. Let's go like 8. There we go. Okay. So let's get rid of all this. Again, we don't need this. It's not a very intense scene. Get rid of that too. All right, so we got our asset here, right? So this is our first asset. I'm going to name it assets for the scene. And then I'm going to copy settings to make a new one. And then I'm going to call it shot 100. And oops, what did I do? Did I just delete it? No, it's called scene. Okay, shot 0, 100. And now I'm just going to bring that collection instance in. Just like that. All right, cool. So now we're ready to work on our first shot. So call it camera, bring that in, go to my top view, bring it down, and then set our camera 90 degrees, 0, 0, 0, just like that. And then we're going to start setting up our windows like I always do. I'm sure you guys starting to kind of pick up on my process every time now, right? I have a process of how I do things. So just like that, and we're going to do a square crop. Let's see. Square crop. Where's my crops? Format 1920. There we go. Select my camera. Let's go to the settings. Nope. Set that to 1. I want a full frame camera down here, just like that. And then I'm going to go 135. And then come out of this one. And we're going to pull this camera back a little bit. Cool. And then we're just going to start posing it. So let's go to solid view. I'm going to set my solid settings. I'll change it a little bit so I can just see the model. Material. Yeah. Object. And leave that. All right. Oh, let's try random. Matter of fact, see what that looks like. Oh, that's not going to work. All right. This one too. I haven't used these yet. Okay, so I'm just going to start doing a freeform rotate. Find something that works. And then something like, what if we did it this direction? What's on this side? I like what's on this side. Yeah, lean it that way. So that's nice. I want to go back this way, actually. Something like this. Kind of thinking that I'm going to change my lens too. I'm going to try 85. Push it in. 85 might be a better option. Just a little bit more dynamic. Stretch it out a little bit. Yeah, I like that. And then just see a little, give that back piece some space. I'm looking at this right here. Let's go full screen. So I'm looking at this right here. Okay, that's what that is. So I'm like looking for openings like this right here. I don't want this lens crossing over this circle. And so I want to be able to give that space. I'm looking for things like that. Intersection points. And then I'm also looking at this piece here on the left. I'm thinking I want to rotate the camera just a tad bit so that we can get a better read on that profile. Yeah, I like that. So it breaks this line right here. So I'm looking at this line on the left and I just want to break that line. That's what I'm looking at. So if I undo that, you see how it's just a straight line now? And then if I redo it, right now we're breaking that line up. So I'm looking at just a couple things as I'm setting up my shot. So I'm just reading the silhouette. Matter of fact, let me see if I turn it more. So we got another thing over here I'm looking at. See this? So there's a profile here, but beyond that, there's another profile that we have to show to ensure that I'm showing this camera properly. Right. So again, we always want to think, okay, how can I show this one shot? Right. I got one shot to get this point across. How can I show off a lot of features of this camera through one shot? Right. And you want to be able to show, you want to be able to market this product to the consumer properly is what I'm trying to say. So do I kind of want it tilted? Do I want it straight? I think tilted. I like to do things tilted a lot. I just think it feels more dynamic in my opinion. So I'm just going to kind of tilt it like that. Okay. Zoom out a little bit. And tilt it just a tad more. Okay, so we're going to go, we'll just go right there. And then we're just going to kind of center it to our frame. So we'll go with that. All right, cool. Let's add some color. See what our material looks like. Let's let the textures load. That's it. Okay, there we go. All right, so looking at it with the textures now, making sure everything is looking right. What if I was to, now that I'm thinking, so what if I was just to tilt it forward some more? Okay, no, I don't want that. Okay, so now I'm kind of locked in on this now. So I'm gonna start rendering it and lighting the camera. Push the camera in just a tad more too, I'm thinking. I want to fill the frame. Yeah, like that. I'm having this other idea in my head too, where I want to take this shot further. Like, I've been doing videos where I'm doing product shots and doing particles, but I'm also thinking that like I want to do some kind of cool accent colored particles in the back too for this shot. But I'm gonna start off with this. So let's start off with that. This just lighten this first. So we're gonna go render, and then I'm gonna set up my background. So just gonna make a plane. Done this plenty of times. Set it up, scale it just to check where it's at. All right. So we got a black background, scaled, and I'm going to just put a material on it, and I'm gonna make it black for now. Yeah. So we're gonna just set this to emission and make it black. All right. So that no, it can't accept light. So if any light bounces off, I don't want this object accepting light at all. I just want a black background. All right, so let's add our first light in. So I'm gonna press F9, Node Wrangler. And again, the goal is to define the shape of this product, right? So we have a lot of different materials on here. They reflect differently. They got texture. So we want to figure out how we can define this shape. So I think I'm going to work on I'm going to light this lens first. So this cylinder shape, I'm paying attention to that right now. So I need to figure out how can I hit this lens properly. So let's go here. Back up. Oh, that was nice. There's something right there. I like this. So I'm hitting the lens. I'm going to bring it closer. So drag my wheel. It's a big light. There we go. Make it brighter too. Feels like it's not. Well, it is actually rolling across properly. It's just hitting weird angles. I'm trying to get this lens, or the cylindrical shape of the lens lit. There we go. There it goes. Where is it? I had it. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. That's what I want. There we go. Okay. Right about there. I like that. That is pretty nice. Yeah. What if we rotated some more? So that's pretty nice right there. Let's start with that. All right. Pretty nice. We're going to duplicate this. So let's duplicate. And then press 2 again. I'm not just start. See if I could come from the right side now. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to define the shape of this cylinder right now. So that's what I'm working on. I want you to be able to understand, like, wow, this is this lens is very cylindrical. You can understand that it's a cylinder. So that's what I'm trying to define right now. So like that, it's got this nice highlight here. And then I'm going to come from the underside too. So we're going to duplicate that. And then I'm just going to come on the underside here. So press 2. And then I'm just going to start rotating around it again. Like that. Lower, lower. Can I get it down lower? There we go. Just a little bit off camera. All right. So we'll start with that. Cool. I like that. And then next part, I think I want to start giving this a rim too. So I'm going to press F9. Or maybe I'll just duplicate one. So I'll take this, duplicate, and I'm going to drag it right here on the right side. I'm just trying to define the shape. I just got to hit the edge so slightly. Okay. It's kind of, I'm going to hit 2. Turn up the brightness again. All right, we're just going to stick with that. I'll come back to it. And then add another one, duplicate. I'm going to go on the left side. So again, I'm just working on the rim for this camera. Take the brightness down. Leave it at that. Another one. There's going to be a lot of lights here. Take this down a lot. I want to turn up the spread. And then let's see size. I'm going to hold shift. And then let's see spread. I'm going to hold control. See where the spread hits. And shift to make it smaller. See size, shift. Okay. There we go. Okay, there is a spread. Okay, so now I'm going to turn up the spread because I want like a gradient across this top. So there's a spread. Just like that. And then I'm going to turn up the brightness, turn up the spread, turn up the brightness. So I just want like a subtle gradient. That's what I'm working on. So like right there, that's awesome. So I'm trying to really define that metallic material across the surface of it. So there's one right there. And then we're going to need another one. Duplicate. Maybe right here in the corner area. See here. What does that look like? I think I'm going to have to have it here in the corner. What if I did something like that? All right, so right here. We'll just do right here. I'm going to brighten it up more. All right. So as you can see, I'm just kind of slowly defining everything. And you could tell like it's not just this 3-point light setup. It's a lot more lights to get all these metallic objects. And I'm just using focused light in every point. So let's try another light. I'm going to duplicate. I like that highlight right there too. See, I can just define that shape. So maybe I can make this light a little bigger too. Thinking. And then the spread. Let's see what the spread is set to. Okay. So I could probably give this one a feather. Make it really big. And then turn the brightness down on it. Yeah, that's nice. Something like that. So I'm just trying things out right now. This is not final. I'm just kind of playing around, see what I get. I might not like it in the end. I might even start over, but I'm just trying this out because, you know, I'm doing this on the fly to see what I can get out of this shot. So duplicate again. Like, what about this piece? I'm looking at that object. I'm going to start that over. Okay. So we do have something defined here. Let me turn off all this stuff though. Overlays. There we go. So we got something defined here. I'm just kind of analyzing right now. let me just turn lights on one at a time, see what happens. So like, I'm turning this one on. I'm like, what's the purpose of this light? So leave that off. Got the left or right side, left side. Highlighting the tops. And then that. So this light right here, I know I had that light. That was for the lens. I was trying to show off this shape right here. Turn it off again. So I like it off, but I like the fact that that bottom portion of the lens is highlighted, but it's washing out this area too much for me. So what I think I can do is shrink this light a little bit to fix that. So I'm going to take this light. Let's see, which one is it? That one. Okay, so I'm going to take this light. I'm going to shrink it down. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to shrink it down a tad bit. Focus it. So I'm going to take the spread just so that I can see the light highly focused in one area. And then bring the size down on it. So let's say 2. Yeah. Okay. So now I can see that this light is very focused in one area. So let's turn the spread back up. Say 90 degrees. 180. Cool. I like that. So now it's a little bit more focused. So it's not just hitting the entire left side of this camera. It's just hitting this area right here, this zone. So this is much better. Okay. Now I'm curious if I was just to do like an overhead light. I'm going to try this real quick. So I'm going to turn off all these lights. And I'm curious what it would look like if I just did an overhead light. So something like that. And then turn on scrim, feather it. And then just move it forward. So that's interesting. Washing this material out a lot though. I don't like that. So let's just turn the brightness down. 2. And maybe let's try these HDRIs, see what it looks like too. So I'm just trying different things, just testing them out. Just to play around. All right, so what if I came from the other side? Oh. So let's go left side this time. And then push it this way. See how it just kind of lights the surface. So I'm testing out, and then let's spin it. Come from the other side to see what that does. Oops. Scale it up to soften the shadows. That's a pretty cool look. But again, this material is getting really washed out. Okay. All right. So I'm not really feeling this. So I'm going to get rid of that. We're going to go back to our old lights. We're just going to turn all these back on. Just do it. Analysis on it where we can improve some things. Okay. So what I'm seeing is I want to improve this area right here. So I think I might just need a small light there to hit. So I'm going to select this small one over here and duplicate it. And then just drag it over here. So now we can just define that corner. Take this brightness way down. Doesn't need to be super hot. Just trying to define that corner. Maybe I can have it like hit like that instead. Nah. Make it bigger. Spread it out. Yeah. See what that looks like. So I'm just paying attention to the reflection of the light. That's what I'm looking at this highlight. So maybe I can just continue this line all the way through, pull it back some more. But then this part is disappearing on me. I don't like that. Let's make it even bigger. Yeah, there we go. Now it's like a gradient that's falling off. Okay, that's better. Let's turn it off and on. See how much it's affecting it. Okay. That's nice. I'm seeing this light in the lens, and I want to do an edit to that too. So I'm actually going to take this light, C7, and select it. I'm going to go over here to feathering, and I'm going to turn this feather up to soften it. So let's go 50%, see how soft it is. Turn it all the way up. So, and what that's doing is just softening the fall off so that it's not a sharp corner that's cutting the lens off that you see in the reflection, that is. So that's what that feathering is doing. So I want to add another one. I think this lens is flat, if I'm not mistaken, on this glass. Okay. All right, so matter of fact, I'm looking at my camera. There's some facetness happening on the geometry. I wonder if I can still set it to smooth. Can't, because it's linked in. So I'm seeing some facetness on the geometry because it doesn't have a lot of subdivisions. If I switch to wireframe, you can see in the wireframe, it doesn't have a lot of subdivisions. So I have to go back to the original asset and set the shade to smooth, so it smooths it out. I'm not going to do it right now, but I'm just explaining why that's happening. But I'm going to do it off camera at some point. Okay, so I think I'm at a good point where I want to stop here. I think I'm going to do a part 2. I'm going to take this further because I want to add some other elements in this shot. I like how this is starting to turn out. So I'm going to pause right here. And we're going to do a part 2. Thanks for coming to watch the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this more kind of off the cuff style video where I didn't have something already prepared. I'm kind of starting from scratch. So yeah, so we're going to take this further. I'm hashing out some ideas in my head, and then I'll execute it and show you guys. So all right, so we'll end it right here. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.